Entitled mother snatches my phone out of my hand because I wouldn't let her son play games on it. I never thought I'd encounter one of those entitled parents you read about on the internet, but I guess I was wrong. Here's how it all went down. I'm a young university student in Canada, juggling my studies with work. I have two phones, an old Huawei that I use for school and work, and a shiny new iPhone 14 Pro Max for everything else: games, social media, friends. The Huawei is sluggish but has all my essential apps and data, so I haven't bothered to transfer everything to my new phone yet. One day, while classes were still in session, I was taking my usual bus ride home. It involves two connections: an express bus from the university to a SkyTran station, and then another bus from the station to my home. The drama unfolded on that second bus. As soon as I sat down at the back of the bus, I noticed a loud woman on her phone, accompanied by her screaming child. I braced myself for an unpleasant ride. Little did I know how bad it would get. The kid, maybe 7 or 8, wandered over to me, climbed onto the seat next to mine, and started staring intently at my phone screen. His mother, still engaged in her conversation, was several seats away. Out of nowhere, the kid asked, "Do you have games on your phone?" I was taken aback, but managed to respond, "Yeah." "Can I play on it?" he persisted.
No.
"Go away," I said firmly. "But I'm bored," he whined. "I don't care." "Go away," I repeated. The kid pouted and ran off, and I thought that was the end of it. I couldn't have been more wrong. Moments later, a shadow loomed over me, and I heard an exasperated ahem. I looked up to see the kid's mother glaring at me. "Why did you tell my son he couldn't use your phone?" she demanded. "Because it's my phone," I replied, bewildered. "You kids are always glued to the screen these days. You can do without it for a single bus ride," she lectured. I was stunned. "What I do with my phone is none of your business," I said slowly. Her face twisted in anger. "How dare you talk to me like that? Show some respect." She then noticed my second phone peeking out of my bag and said, "You have two phones. Just give him one. You can use the other one." "No, lady. I'm not giving some stranger's kid my phone," I shot back. "But you don't need two phones," she insisted. "Lady," I said, my patience wearing thin, "it doesn't matter that I have two phones. They are my phones. No means no." She rolled her eyes and walked away, dragging her screaming son. I thought that was the end of it and decided to distract myself with some offline games. How wrong I was. A few minutes later, I felt a tug on my backpack. I looked down to see the kid reaching into my bag, trying to steal my second phone. Instinctively, I smacked his hand away and shouted, "What the hell are you doing?" Normally, I'm a calm and reserved person, but my voice carried the authority of someone who had spent 6 years in the Royal Canadian Army Cadets. The kid froze, then scurried back to his mother, crying. And there she was again, storming over. "How dare you speak to my son like that?" she screamed. "Your son tried to steal my phone." I retorted, "Let him have it. Stop being a brat. You can stay off your phone for a moment." "It's not that big of a deal," she insisted. I was livid. "If it's not such a big deal, how about you let him have yours? Your kid being bored is not my responsibility." She turned red with rage. "Are you calling me a bad parent? If you were such a good parent, your kid wouldn't be off trying to steal other people's stuff." I shot back. By now, our shouting match had attracted the attention of the entire bus. Some passengers muttered in agreement with me, while others just watched the spectacle. Then, in a shocking move, the woman snatched my phone out of my hand. "Give me that. You brats don't deserve these," she yelled. I was momentarily stunned but quickly sprang up to wrestle my phone back from her. In the scuffle, I knocked her down. She started wailing like a banshee, claiming I had assaulted her. Her son was crying and punching me in the legs. The bus screeched to a halt, and the driver rushed over. Seeing me standing over the woman with my phone, the driver assumed I was the aggressor. "Sir, return that device at once and leave the premises, or I will be forced to call the police," he said. Before he could finish, several passengers spoke up, defending me and explaining what had happened. The driver raised his hands, trying to calm everyone down. Meanwhile, the woman continued to scream about pressing charges. When things finally settled, I calmly said, "Sir, this phone is mine. If you allow me, I will unlock it. I demonstrated, revealing my anime wallpaper, and unlocked the phone. The woman shrieked again, claiming I had seen her type in her password. Lady, an annoyed man from the back called out, there are cameras on the bus. Everything is recorded. At the mention of cameras, the woman went pale. She dragged her son to the back door, pounding on it and demanding to be let out. Just then, 2 police officers arrived, responding to a report of an assault. The woman tried to spin her sob story, but the officers, looking exhausted, cut her off. The bus was held up for nearly 2 hours while statements were taken and the camera footage was reviewed. Eventually, the woman was placed in the back of a cruiser after she slapped one of the officers. The police took my contact information and ID, saying they would reach out if needed. I didn't stick around to see what happened to the kid. I just wanted to get home. The worst part? My parents, who were always upset when I got home late, didn't believe my story. They thought it was just another excuse.